everyone. Welcome back to the Next Level podcast with Dr. Leslie. Today is a very interesting episode. It's a little bit different than I usually do, and that's because I'm doing a Q&A. So I have a lot of fans and listeners and people in my life that want to get to know my answers and the way I sort of help guide people. And so we've got a whole freaking list of questions that I'm going to be answering for you guys today to help you life hack your way through your life mastery process. And remember, there are two pieces to creating your best, most authentic, fulfilling, abundant, love-filled, fill in the blank, whatever it is that you want. It is about mastering yourself, understanding how to and what it means to be connected with your authentic truth, how to harness the power of your mind, because the mind is the most powerful way to create, and mastering your physiology. But I don't want to just deliver that. Anyone who's a guru can develop self-mastery skills. I take you to the next level, hence the name of the podcast, which is to life hack your way there. And what life hack really is, it's about easier, more practical, efficient, effective ways to get there. All right, so we are matching your self-mastery with life hacks so we can really expedite your process, accelerate yourself there so you can start living your freaking best life now. Okay. All right, I have Austin, the producer in the studio, who's going to be shooting off the questions for me. I have not screened any of these, so this is going to be completely from my center, my truth, my knowledge base. So let's go, Austin.
All right. This first question asks, what kinds of food help with mental health?
That's excellent. And there are different approaches to this, okay? There isn't one solid answer. But really the biggest thing that we need to think about is the gut health, because so much literature is supporting, and I mean, it's really crazy, but not crazy, that our gut is our second brain. And we need to be able to have a really healthy gut. And neurotransmitters are actually manufactured in the gut itself. And they are responsible for our feel-good feelings. The dopamine, the serotonin, everything is there. So it's really not just about foods, although I will name some foods here in a second. The key is to have as clean of a gut and bowel as possible. Because when you have yeast and inflammation and parasites and constipation, and you have things literally sitting, rotting and or disrupting the balance, the production and or communication of the neurotransmitters, and the other ways in which your gut communicates with your brain and the rest of your body, you really can't think clearly. So really, it's important to have a very clean bowel. And there's many different ways you can do that. There's probiotics, prebiotics, drinking lots of water, obviously. Depending now on your food strategy, depends on whether we put fiber into this or not. So my approach, I have a carnivore lifestyle. So I eat fat, salt, and meat. Yes, that's it. No vegetables. I don't do any oxalates or anything like that. That is been working fabulously for me. It's made me have incredible mental clarity. It's really helped take me to the next level in my health and my mental clarity, in my mental health. And it's actually allowed me to fix a lot of these chronic sort of issues that I had had before, like pain in my body and in my muscles that I had from my years and years of dancing and ice skating and ballet and muscle building. It's also helped with, I guess I had kidney stones that I had passed when I cleaned up my diet, and just my ability to have clarity and focus. And I'm able to harness the power of my mind and change my beliefs and accelerate my ability to sort of get inspiration and process through my own personal development faster because I have the clarity and the focus. So that is one strategy. It may not be for everybody. It's a newer thing. I know a lot of people feel it's controversial, although it's not. I have never, ever, ever read one person saying that they went on the carnivore and then they died or someone died or whatever. It's usually the opposite. And people love to come down on others, and say negative things. Most everything that I've read is, oh my God, it's cured this, or I had diabetes and now I don't have it anymore. So it is one way. It is not the only way. So in terms of foods to avoid, I think is the better way to approach this question. Sugar, and I used to be a sugar addict. Yes, my name is Dr. Leslie, and I used to be a sugar addict. I'm recovering. That is like the worst. It's poison, essentially. So we want to stay away from refined sugar as much as possible. Alcohols, again, they have the sugars in it. It can be a little bit challenging for the body to process, and it affects, again, the balance in your gut. I do love myself a good diet soda every now and then, and that is not so great either, but I allow myself some exceptions. Those can disrupt the microbiome in the gut as well. So I sort of reversed your question, Austin, to kind of give you some insights as to what to avoid and some strategies, but there isn't really one particular thing. And there's so much literature that's coming out with these nouveau approaches. So takeaway is we want to have a really nice, clean gut, as clean as possible so that we can optimize those different pathways that the gut brain and the brain communicate, and then avoiding those really nasty substances that disrupt that balance.
Okay, our next question says, how do you get yourself out of a depressive state when you have everyone depending on you?
That's excellent and very challenging. I've been there before. So a depressive state is actually the answer. It's the state, right? It's your state. So we cannot create anything different if we're in a state of depression, right? So this is basic physics. This is not anything hoo-ha, quirky, fluffy, or anything. This is basic laws of physics that like attracts like. And we see this every day in people's stories and journeys and all this sort of thing. So when we have definitions and beliefs, they are what create our emotion. And our emotion creates a state of being. So if, for example, I'm just extrapolating or filling in the scenario here for this person who's feeling they're in a state of depression, they might have a belief that, oh my God, I have my whole family relying on me. It's my job to create for them and to provide for them. And I'm stuck in this fucking job that I can't get ahead and they pay me shit. And, it's just I have all these bills and blah, blah, blah. And that can make you feel shitty and locked in and closed, which can obviously clearly make you feel depressed because you feel stuck. Most people are in this like crazy 8 cycle where they're, I got a little hair here, where they are sad and then they're angry and they're sad and they're angry and they can't get out. They got to exit out by changing their state. But you see the beliefs that I have to, in that statement, that question, I'm responsible for everyone because everyone's dependent on me. That is laced with so many belief systems. I guarantee you, if we talk to that person, we break it down, well, I'm the only one that can work and I don't like to ask for help, or if I ask for help, then that means that I'm a failure or whatever. There's so many beliefs within this structure of everyone is relying on me. And there's other things, and it's not just that statement. There's other beliefs and definitions that the person has that are making them feel sad, inadequate, unable to move forward and give their family what it is that they're wanting to, which is to provide for them. Okay, so what we would need to do, and some gurus try to focus on changing your state first, which is basically just trying to force a happy vibration and just being happy. That does help. Moving your body, if you want something instant, if you want to instantly snap yourself out, So you can then take the process that I'm about to share with you. This is a great strategy. Okay, some people don't necessarily need it, but it will help give you momentum, and we're all about life hacks and giving you momentum. So the first thing, and this is what helped me on my fucked up journey, is to get myself into a different state immediately. So you do that by first moving your body. Because what happens when you're sad? When you feel like shit, you sit back, your shoulders shrug forward, you've got this flaccid face, and you just, life sucks, right? Immediately you can start, you physiologically will change and your mood will change by first changing your physiology. So you stand up straight, you pull your shoulders back, you smile in the mirror, and you will actually start feeling better immediately. I know this might sound crazy, but if you feel like you need to, before you start in a process, get yourself first in a somewhat state of being able to get motivated or do a process, you do that first, okay? Then the whole process is, okay, I'm ready and willing, I'm physically in a place where I can focus on evaluating myself. You need to look at your beliefs and your definitions. Okay, what is it that I am believing is true that is making me feel that I am sad? Okay, the best thing that I teach my clients is this, and this is the most fucking important thing I want all of you to remember. Write this down, okay? Is I am feeling blank. So in this case, I am feeling depressed because I am choosing to believe that I must blank. The moment that you start taking responsibility for your belief systems and your definitions, you immediately will neutralize the pain. You will neutralize the feeling because you are all in charge of your feelings and your beliefs and the state in which you live. That is physics. That is a rule. So when you first admit and take responsibility, oh fuck, I am sad because I feel that, or I believe that, I must take on all of the responsibility of my family and I must be triumphant and I have to work hard and do all those things. When you take responsibility, then you can actually open up. It softens. It opens you up into compassion. It opens up into, oh shit, I didn't realize that's what I was feeling. I didn't realize that was the belief. And it jars you. You all of a sudden open this box and you go, oh fuck, I didn't know that that's what I was believing. And then the process begins where you can say, okay, well, shit, I didn't realize that I believed that this was all my responsibility and I couldn't ask for help, or that I, whatever it is that you decide is your belief. And then you can change that belief immediately. You go down and you just, with all of your passion and all of your conviction, you believe the new belief just as hard as you believe the old belief that you probably had on default because you learned that as a child. So to change your state, like I said, first you want to maybe get into a different physiology, move your body, go for a walk, just stand up straight, smile like a goofball in the mirror, something just to jar yourself out. And then take responsibility for the belief that you have that's creating the emotion, that is creating the depressive state. And then you got to break down and dissect your beliefs, create a new belief. And then when you have the belief of, no, I got this, I am not believing that this is all my burden. I'm believing that, you know what, I am powerful. I know that leaders ask for help. I know that there's a way out of this. That state of being will then attract to you the solutions. That is the state that everything melts away and those serendipity happens all the time. This is the magic of life that I talk about all the time with people. This shit happens all the time to me, but in such an amazing way, and my life is accelerating because I've mastered this, right? So when serendipity is everywhere, but if you're in a negative state, your serendipitous reinforcements are going to reinforce the state in which you're in. But once you are in the state of being, I've got this, there's a solution. I don't have to be here. I've chosen this and I can choose better, and I have, and now this is what I believe. Everything changes. Every moment your reality changes. It is so quick. It can happen so quick if you're aware. You will then get the nudges and the phone call will happen, and then your brain will see a sign, and then, an email will pop up that you wouldn't have seen before when you were in the depressed state. You are constantly being shown, and your mind will focus on the things that your brain is receptive to. What you're thinking is what you'll see. You could have two things in front of you, but you will only see what you are attracted to, that your mind is focusing on. If you're depressed, you're going to see depressing things. So you will then automatically, just because of physics, the laws of physics and the way you interact with your reality, you will be receiving something completely different. So state of being matters, not circumstance. That's the other piece I want you to understand, okay? Circumstances don't matter. State of being matters. So you have to change your state. Like I said, it's taking responsibility that I've chosen this emotion because I believe, and then you change those fucking beliefs, and then magic happens. Then the positive magic will absolutely happen.
All right, that was a good answer there. This next one says, is self-isolation healthy for people who have / had troubles in their past?
Well, it's intention. So I don't necessarily see anything as bad or good. We have duality, we have light and dark and all this stuff in life, but it's always about intention. So isolation can be helpful and useful if the person is intending to take that opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth. So in that instance, yes, it would be very helpful, healthy, and conducive for them to heal from the trauma, work on themselves, get to where it is they want to go. I've done that myself. I've recommended it to my clients in the past because sometimes you need to detox the people. Again, remember I was saying state of being matters, not your circumstance, right? Your circumstance, your reality is reflected by what's happening here. Again, this is physics. So sometimes in your process of growth, you need to shelter yourself from other people, from circumstances, so you could get really solid and really strong inside yourself, so that when you're ready to step out and check how your reality is reflecting back to you, how your circumstance, how the people are, or just figuring out who you want to be or what you're wanting to create. Yes, you want to protect yourself. Sometimes that's important in that transformation process. However, it is not healthy, and I would not recommend it, obviously, if someone is doing it because they are feeling contracted and disempowered and they're running away and they're afraid. And I've also done this. I've done it in both ways, the healthy and in the unhealthy way. So I have personal experience here. So isolation because you're feeling embarrassed or humiliated or like, what do I do? That can be actually very dangerous because that ends up isolating yourself in a way where you actually do need the help, but you are just so contracted and you're going down like that negative spiral. And that's where people end up, being suicidal and get into drugs or alcohol and more dangerous behaviors, which thankfully I was smart enough not to go down that hole. But it did take me, in my circumstance, a little bit longer to kind of heal because I didn't have any social supports. Actually, it was the lack of social supports that actually got me into some of the challenges I got into. So it really does depend on the individual and what their intention and motive is for the isolation.
Perfect. So we have 2 more for this episode, and I'm really curious how you're going to answer these. Mm-hmm. So let's start with this first one. Do you feel like we live in a toxic self-help society?
Yes and no. I think it really depends on your perspective, right? So our reality reflects back to us what we believe. I have seen both of them because I was in a point in my personal development where I was very much in the spiritual community. Like I was having this existential crisis and shit was coming down. And I had like these weird sort of, intuitive things. Things got really wild and crazy there for a while. And so my community that I was in, I mean, it helped me to cope and get through it. But when I look back, I was like, holy shit, that was like, people just stay there. They stay stuck in the victim loop. It can be very toxic. It can be very, very toxic. The thing is, people can use it as just like spiritual escapism, self-help escapism. There's escapism in everything. People hop on bandwagons like this semaglutide weight loss bullshit that's going on. Like the clinic that I associate with, there's so many people that just go on it because they want to lose weight. And it's like there are people that need it and do well with it. And there's people that just go there because they want to just do something, but they don't want to actually do the work. So it can be a trap. It can be like, oh, but I'm working on myself. But they really are not diving deep. They're not choosing, right? So it can be very, very toxic and reinforcing just a staying stuckness. It almost becomes counterintuitive. But again, it depends on your intention and what you're wanting to get out of it. The community that I create is very focused on getting results. I don't want people to be dependent on me. If you're serious, you come to me, I will give you what you need, and I will ensure that you are accountable. I mean, I will give you everything that you need, that I've mastered this. If you don't do it, it's your choice, and don't come cry to me. There's lots of other platforms for that you can cry and be toxic in. That's not mine. So my reality that I created and the people that I work with, it is so healthy and supportive, and we get results and we get them fast because I'm all about acceleration and mastery and living in bliss. I live in bliss like pretty much all the time now. Even, quote, negative things are not negative. I transfer them and transmute them into positive and better than I could expect because I know how to work with myself and my creative process and this sort of matrix reality in which we live in. So there's not a one answer to that. However, I do see the majority of people stuck in the toxic self-help cycle. Not so much my people, because I attract something different, but when I look in observance, and that's why I'm so passionate about doing this, because I see so many people that are sort of stuck on the hamster wheel. They need to step out. Some of them don't know how to step out. Some of them don't want to step out. They're like, literally, this wheel is forever my thing because it's an excuse for me to stay stuck. I'm in a process of healing, and they're really not. They're really not. It doesn't have to take long at all to heal. You can heal and change a belief in a moment. I've done it. The more you have, again, that gut-brain axis clear, it's easier and easier and easier to have the clarity and just be determined and just boom, 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 boom. But we're like in this shift from people choosing the toxicity to not, but it's individual.
Okay, so this is our last question. It kind of falls, I would say, it goes pretty well hand in hand with that last question. But does it say, is the economy or government to blame for poor mental health, or can it be tossed up to entire circles of toxicity?
Ooh, good one. Well, we definitely are products of our conditioning, and the government is a piece of that conditioning. Okay, no one come knocking at my door. I'm not gonna be too hard on you all, but we are products of our conditioning, our parents, our family, maybe some of our genetics. So that's modifiable with epigenetics, government, and the food pyramid. And people don't know about oxalates yet. When you get a kidney stone, they say remove all oxalates, and oxalates are huge in vegetables and fruit. Me saying that, people are gonna be like, poof, she's crazy. Read it, research it, watch the episode I had with Lorenzo, who talks all about it. You can fact check. So there are things that we are being taught by the government that are not necessarily the most conducive. Now, granted, to have their back, should I decide to be so gentle, is research before people like me who got our doctorates in nursing practice. It took 17 years for research to get translated to the bedside. So there's a lot of time lag and there's comfortability, and we know how politics are, and it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, but it is broken, but people don't think it's, so there's a lot of, shenanigans going on in terms of just changing some of these structures. But yes, I mean, our government is here to guide us and to create rules and recommendations, and our medical schools are funded by the government, and there's a lot of support and grants and all those things. So, there is a filtering down, a conditioning from the government as one of them, not the only one, but one of them. So it is an unfortunate reality, because if the government does not have all of the information and the right information to feed the people, then we're kind of fucked.
That was our last question.
All right. Awesome. Those were good ones. I got in a couple of rants there. I love it.
You did, but it was good.
It was good. Thank you, Austin. All right, guys. I hope that was a fun and information-filled episode for you. We've got a really great guest in our next week's episode, so please stay tuned. All right. Bye, guys.